Hello, my lovely class. Welcome back to StudyWave Academy, where education is without limits. Welcome back to our amazing English class, and let's continue looking at our speech work. And so far, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about what speech works are, what is speech work, and we've looked at something very, very important, the monophthongs. We've talked about these, given examples and understood them. Then we looked at idioms, and I've told you what idioms are, and I've given you examples. So we talked about breaking a leg, to break a leg, bite the bullet, and the example was cost an arm and a leg, and the example was piece of cake, hit the nail on the head, cry over spilt milk, under the weather, break the ice, and then lastly we talked about, not lastly actually, keep an eye was the second last, and then lastly we talked about green with envy. So these were the idioms we looked at and what they meant, and even examples in sentences. Now we'll go back to something we've covered just to remind ourselves what it's all about, and that is something we call vocabulary development. I will talk about vocabulary development. So I've talked about this, we've learned about this, but it's important that we understand what vocabulary development is. Now, vocabulary development plays a crucial role in enhancing students' reading, writing, and overall communication skills. Vocabulary development involves expanding one's knowledge and understanding of words and their meaning. So vocabulary development is just a very, very important topic where we want to develop our reading and writing skills. So we just, again, when we're talking about idioms, I told you use one or two in your sentences to make your sentence appealing, or your conversations appealing and lovely and colorful. Also, vocabulary development adds a taste to this. When you want to show your prowess in the English language, you make use of these new words, and just don't throw words again. Just don't use ambiguous words that you don't even know the meaning yourself. Use words that, yes, they are ambiguous and very, very useful and relevant to what you're talking about. So this is the vocabulary development. Now let's look at the first thing, and that is reading comprehension. So we're going to be talking about ways to develop our vocabulary development. Okay, so how are we going to develop our vocabulary development? So the first one is reading comprehension. A strong vocabulary is essential for a comprehension or for contexts or texts. So as students, we're expected to encounter more advanced literature and academic materials, which often contains unfamiliar words. Okay, so as students, you're expected to use and meet more advanced words. We don't want you to be just using the same English. Like I gave an example earlier. The English you're speaking when you're in grade 7 or grade 5 or grade 4, is it the same English you're speaking now? So you should ask yourself that question. And if you find that nothing has changed, then you know that you haven't developed in terms of your vocabulary building. But if you find some difference in how you speak and how you used to speak, then you've made a milestone, you've moved, and you've made a difference. Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. So when you want to develop your vocabulary, right, so what do? You read comprehension. So make sure, and just don't read from one source. Make use of magazines, read storybooks, read newspapers, read journals. Okay, the wider you read, the more vocabularies you meet, and the wider you expand your knowledge and your vocabulary knowledge. Okay, so you want to be an effective reader, okay, and a good, maybe public speaker, or a very, very good instructor. Okay, so what do? You read widely. Reading widely means reading from all sources, reading from most sources. Okay, so you want to read from books, you want to read from newspapers, you want to read from magazines. So just be a wide person. Widen your reading capability, read from all sources, and this will make you explore various ways of reading and understanding. Okay, don't forget about that. So the first thing when you want to develop your reading, or when you want to develop your vocabulary, you have to read comprehension. Then the second thing I will look at is writing proficiency. The moment you're building your vocabulary, you are expressing your thoughts and ideas, okay? So when you're building your vocabulary, you're able to express your thoughts well. So you won't lack anything to write. If you want to avoid even repetition in your writing, you make sure that you read widely and use these vocabularies, okay? So when you learn vocabularies, you're able to also improve on your writing proficiency. You're able to become a pro and write very, very well, and people enjoy your reading. Again, like I said, when you're writing, avoid using a lot of ambiguous words. Like from the beginning to the end of your writing, you're just using some big words, ambiguous words. This will make your reading boring, and someone might even stop reading your work because they're tired of searching for words and like trying to understand what you really, really mean. So throw in these words like in a paragraph 2 or 3, okay? In a paragraph again 1, in a paragraph 2. Just throw in these vocabularies, but don't overdo it. So the reason as to why you have to understand vocabulary is also to develop your writing proficiency. We want you to write well. Don't be a normal person. Don't use just the normal English to write. But here, you have to notice that you're always given like essays to work on, reports to write, and some creative pieces. So the diverse vocabulary enhances a quality writing, okay? So the moment you are conversant with like various vocabularies, your writing will also be the best or one of the best writings, okay? Then the next is academic success. You have to know that vocabulary development is linked to academic success. You notice that most people who are good at communicating, or they have a wide knowledge on vocabularies, they're always very, very good students in class, okay? Or they pass the exams or things like that. So development of these vocabularies is closely linked to your academic success. So as you progress and go through your high school years, you encounter subject-specific terminologies in various disciplines or various subjects like science, history, literature, and a strong vocabulary aids in comprehension and successful coursework. So even in literature, when you're told to even write a creative piece or write a poem or write a text on something, this will help you succeed and get or score high marks because your English is very, very nice. Your vocabulary usage is also okay. So academic success is closely linked to your vocabulary development. Don't forget about that. Then the next is communication skills. Again, those who communicate so well are good with their vocabularies. And when you develop your vocabularies, then you're able to become a good speaker, a good person who knows how to communicate and even hold meaningful discussions and articulate your opinions well, because you know what words to use and how to use these words. Then the next one is standardized test. You notice that in high school you have SAT or this SAT or ACT tests, and a strong vocabulary will help you score very well in such tests, okay? So again, don't forget to work on your vocabulary development. Now we will look at a few ways on how to develop our vocabulary. So I will just take you through, because I've done this with you, so I'll just go through it very, very fast and just tell you ways to improve our vocabularies. And the first way is reading widely. Like I said, you want to improve your vocabulary. So what do? You make sure that you read widely. Don't read from just one book or one place, but make sure you're reading from articles, online articles, exposing yourself to magazines, newspaper, books, okay? So read widely, and this will help you even meet synonyms of words. And synonyms are words that mean the same as other words, so they have different meanings, different pronunciation, but have the same meaning. So you'll meet synonyms, you'll meet antonyms, you will meet a lot of words that will help you develop your vocabulary. So you have to read widely. Then the next way is to have a vocabulary list. Even in my class, you notice that when we meet new words, or when I'm sure that you've not heard the word before, I'll tell you to go to your vocabulary corner and just take note of the word, write the word down, and this will help you remember. So you want to become a good reader or a good writer, and you don't want to forget what you write. So in your book or anywhere you write, or a notebook, have somewhere where you write down these complex words. You're reading and you meet a complex word, write it down, and then later just go find the meaning of the word and in various contexts, and even find how to use it in sentences. So just have a vocabulary list, okay? This will help you improve on your vocabulary development. Another way is to contextual writing or contextual learning, okay? So learning new words in context can be highly effective. We encourage you to read sentences or passages where the words are used. This will help you understand how they fit into the sentences. So I'll give an example. You're reading a book and you're not close to a dictionary, or maybe you don't have your phone around, and then you meet a complex word. Do you stop reading to find a dictionary, or do you just stop reading because you don't understand the word? What do you do? So if you want to build your vocabulary, you have to know how to read around the context. Like we learned this yesterday, and I told you about this. When you meet words and you don't know about them, we talked about context understanding, okay? Sentences and context understanding. And I told you, when you meet words and you don't even have somewhere to like find their meaning, what do? You look at the phrases around this word or other words around these words, and they will give you a clue on how to understand this word. They will help you understand the meaning of the word. So contextual learning is very important, where even when you're reading a passage, you read words around this word that you don't understand, or the phrases around this word that you don't understand. This will help you get the meaning, or what the word is meaning, or what the word is actually trying to mean, okay? So that is what we call contextual learning. Next, we have games or word games and puzzles. You notice that we have these games that are crossword puzzles, or word search games, or vocabulary games, okay? So make use of these games. You want to develop your vocabulary, make use of these games, or sit down with your friends and play a game. When you mention a word, the first one to get the meaning get some points, and the winning team is awarded. Like, make use of these games. Don't make learning boring, make learning fun. You meet words, act them out, play them out, and just have fun finding the meaning of these words. So the more you play, you realize that you are able to understand and you won't forget. So games also help you memorize things without forgetting. So use word games and puzzles to help you learn new words, and just new words to enjoy and play around, okay? So don't forget about that. The next step to learn how to develop your vocabulary is dictionary and thesaurus. So you notice, what is the use of a thesaurus for anyone who knows? So they have the same function, but there's a slight difference. I mean, with the thesaurus, you use to find synonyms or words that mean the same, okay? So thesauruses help us to find synonyms, while dictionaries helps us to find the meaning of words. So make dictionaries and thesauruses your friends, okay? Know how to use the dictionary. There's some people who even don't know how to handle a dictionary. You find them just perusing through pages and wasting time finding a word that they can find very easily. So understand how to use the dictionary, and just anytime you're reading or anytime you are analyzing a context, have a dictionary close to you, or a thesaurus, whereby when you meet a word that you don't know, you can easily confirm what the word simply means and understand the word, okay? So use the dictionaries. Then lastly, I'll just encourage you to explore new words every day and learn its meaning, and try to use it in a sentence. When you meet a word that you don't know, find the meaning. After finding the meaning, don't just find the meaning and relax. Now use it in your day-to-day life. When you're talking, use these vocabularies. When you're writing, or when you have a creative piece to write, use these words and just employ them in your writing, okay? So just to wind up on vocabularies, we have to understand that it's an ongoing process. As we continue growing, we meet new words, and effort and practice will make us become the best speakers, okay? So by actively engaging and knowing these words and their meaning, we're able to expand our vocabularies and improve on our academic performance, and enhance our overall language speaking skills. So keep practicing. The words you know today will change, and you will meet new words. So be free to change, be open to change, and just continue practicing and reading, as vocabularies will always find new ones as you grow, okay?